assembly with the welfare of the society and the just government of people. We beseech you to behold with abundant favor. As your servant, we have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this country, the Republic of Kenya. Let your blessing descend upon us, assemble and grant attitude and consider all matters as shall come under deliberation in so just and a faithful manner as to promote your honor and glory and to advance peace, prosperity, and welfare of our county and of those interests you have committed to our church. Amen. Clerk, confirm whether we have quorum.
Honorable Speaker, quorum is not present.
Okay, Director of Clerk, the bell to be rung for 8 minutes. Clerk, confirm.
Honorable Speaker, quorum is now present.
Okay, order of business.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, papers.
Next order.
Order number 5, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, state.
Honorable Gideon, was it? Notice of motion.
I want to seek your guidance. I don't know whether I had given notice of motion or not, but now that at that point, Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether I will be in order to be guided whether I had given a notice of motion that will be appearing in the afternoon.
Okay, I hope Honorable Gideon, you had given out the notice of motion. I think that one will come under motion. Next.
Order number 7, statements.
Next.
Order number 8, motion.
Motion, Honorable Cornelia Some.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to give a motion on eligibility of applicants whose parents or a parent are with disabilities to receive bursary or scholarship. Mr. Speaker, aware that the Constitution and Person with Disability Act 203 are set out entitlement of persons with disability, noting that Nandi County Educational Fund Act 2016 sets out the criteria for the award of bursary and scholarship. Further aware that bursary and scholarship applicants with disabilities are given special consideration among the applicants, considering that applicants for bursary or scholarships who are without disabilities but whose parents are with disabilities are not given preferential consideration while awarding bursary or scholarship. This House therefore resolves that priority at the time of award of bursary or scholarship be given to the applicants whose parents are with disabilities. Mr. Speaker, in Article 54 of the Constitution of in the Article 54 of the Constitution and Person with Disability Act gives entitlement to a person with disability of the Nandi County Assembly Educational Fund, NASEF. Act 2016 provides conditions for the educational grant, bursary or scholarship to persons who are vulnerable due to family or social setting. This section heavily covers for children whose parents are disabled but who themselves are not disabled. Regulation 9 Clause 2C of the Nandi County Educational Fund, NASEF, Regulation 2017 provides for provision of bursary for needy disabled children but does not give due consideration for children who are with disability but whose parents are disabled. This sets up an uneven ground for these children whose parents are unable to effectively provide for them as will be their case for children of able parents who are equal need. The CC member of education should therefore take steps towards amending the said regulation to include children whose parents are with disabilities as being within the needy crowd, as in the needy group, and to be prioritized in the provision of a bursary. Mr. Speaker, I urge Honorable Fred to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you. Honorable members, I now propose that the eligibility of applicants whose parents are within disability to receive the bursary on award, the motion was sponsored by Honorable Some, be discussed. Honorable Fred.
Waja nichukuru nafasi Mheshimiwa Spika. Ya pili, nashukuru Mheshimiwa rafiki yangu kwa kufikiria jambo la maana sasa zaidi. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati tulipeana bursary kule kwa wadi yangu, Mheshimiwa Spika, nilishangaa sana. Kuna mama yeye ni mlemavu na ako na watoto. Bursary alikatashwa kwa sababu asema mtoto sio mlemavu. Alafu Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna mtoto mlemavu, baba yake ni tajiri, ako na chai, lakini walipea bursary. Mheshimiwa Spika, nilisikia uchungu sana Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu ukiangalia hao watoto wamesaliwa na mlemavu, mwenye anasomesha ni mama yake ni mlemavu. Haikuwa haki Mheshimiwa Spika, na ningependa Mheshimiwa wote tuunge mkono, tusaidie walemavu angalau wajue wapate haki yao Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa sababu ukiangalia sasa ule mtu sio mlemavu, akienda pale kutafuta bursary, nafikiri wananchi wataamua kama wewe ni tajiri utapewa ama wewe sio tajiri unapewa. Lakini upande wa walemavu walikuwa na shida sana. Turekebishe hiyo makosa, na pia tuangalie kama walemavu wako wengi, tutaongeza kiwango 10%. Nafikiri haiwatoshi kwa sababu tulikuwa na watoto 5. tuliwapatia 11,000 na hiyo pesa ikaisha. Sasa hakuna pesa ingine, na hiyo ndio tungependa kama sisi waheshimiwa tungeangalia kama mtu ni mlemavu, serikali ilipie mpaka amalize shule, kwa sababu unajua walemavu si wengi, haiwezi shinda serikali kufanya hivyo. Na ningependa kusema pia wale waheshimiwa wafikirie jambo zaidi. Jambo kama hizi inasaidia kaunti wakati tunaenda mbele. Na pia mimi nimeshukuru kaunti serikali yetu na nimeshukuru waheshimiwa kwa sababu wakati tulipeana basari nafikiri wananchi wamefurahi. Sisi tuongeze zaidi. Tunataka tuhakikisha kwamba hii mwaka yenye tuko naye tuweke basari zaidi ya milioni 4 kwa kila ward. Ndio tusaidie hao wananchi watusaidie, kwa sababu ukiangalia sisi mshahara yetu yote inaishia kwa harambee. Kesho utakuwa kwa harambee mtoto wa shule, kesho utakuwa harambee kwenda wapi, na hiyo lazima tuelewane ya kwamba tuweke basari itoshe wananchi watoto wasome, kwa sababu hatuwezi kataa. Sisi tunapenda masomo na masomo ndio ngao, lazima watoto wasome, na hiyo ndio tunasema tusaidiane, tuhakikishe. Na najua ya kwamba kaunti yetu ya Nandi baada ya kumaliza barabara, baada ya kumaliza maji, tutaangalia vile tutafanya angalau tusaidie. Kuna kaunti kama Wasigishu, kaunti kama ya Kericho nasikia wanaweka zaidi ya milioni 6, na hiyo ndio imesaidia wananchi pale. Mheshimiwa, tunajua ya kwamba sisi hata wananchi wanafikiri sisi tuko na pesa, lakini yote inaishia kwa harambee. Sasa pia lazima tuende kwa mafunzo, wale kamati wa elimu waende wafundishe wananchi ya kwamba kama mtoto ameanguka, hata ukipeleka paralysis, baada ya kumaliza ataanguka tu, akuje polytechnic asome polytechnic kama hii yetu, kama hii yangu niko naye, apate ujuzi, aanze kufanya kazi, kwa sababu tayari utapeleka mtoto pale ulipe milioni ngapi? Kitambo huu mtoto amalize shule umetumia zaidi ya milioni 600, na hiyo pesa hata akiandikwa kazi hatarudisha. Afadhali mtoto mwenye amepita alipe 24,000 kwa mwaka, na hiyo ni mzuri. Unajua si elimu ni biashara. Wewe ukiwa na degree, ukiomba kazi unapewa. Ukiwa na diploma na umepita utapewa. Na usipopita bado tu ni hasara. Lazima tuelewane, tuangalie kwamba tutafanya namna gani. Na pia tunataka pia walemavu waangalie ile elimu inawasaidia. Si ati wasome tu. Kuna courses ile wakisoma inawasaidia. Baada ya kumaliza hiyo shule watakuja kufungua. Mimi nikiwa hapa kama mheshimiwa niko na walemavu zaidi wanafanya kazi ya jua kali. Kule Namgoi tuko na walemavu karibu 2 na hao wanafanya kazi nzuri. Na ukiangalia wamenunua shamba kwa kupaka rangi viatu. Na hiyo ndio tutafikiria. Ya mwisho, Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati tunafanya bajeti, awali tukiwa kwa ile serikali tuliwapitisha milioni 15. Ilikuwa ni 15,000 kwa kila mlemavu, tuhakikisha kwamba ameanza kufungua biashara. Ili itusaidie pia wachangie, kwa sababu tukiwapatia basari 10,000 haitawasaidia. Tuhakikishe tumewekea pesa wafungue biashara na waendelee mbele. Na hiyo ndio tunataka. Asante sana Mheshimiwa rafiki yangu.
Honorable Mengech.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I wish to thank Honorable Cornelia Some for coming up with this motion. First, Honorable Speaker, I support this motion. On Monday, we had a consultative meeting with the CEC and our team. And one of the issues that came up was consideration of parents with disabilities. We are in agreement as a committee. We are proposing amendments to the NASEF Act so that we factor in. We are proposing that the 10% or more will not be distributed at the ward level. We are proposing the money to be given to Department of Social Welfare so that they can identify parents and children with disabilities. I think, honorable members, when we come up with the amendments of that act, you will support. As Honorable Fred has said, in our ADP, we amended the ADP so that for 1920, so that we double the bursary from 60 million to 120 million. Honorable members, I believe the design of the county fiscal strategy paper has factored in the fact that we are proposing to increase bursary. As Honorable Fred has said, in November 13th, together with the CCM, 5 of them, we visited West Pokot. In Pokot in 2017-2018, the bursary they give to their students is 320 million for 2017-2018. For 2018-2019, the bursary is 370 million. We have a bigger population than in West Pokot. So I believe members doubling our bursary from 16 million, so that Honorable Fred has said that we increase the 10% for children and maybe parents with disabilities can go up maybe even to 15%. The other issue, Honorable Speaker, why we are proposing that the money be given to social welfare is because of the absorption. In some words from the report, last year's report, the money intended for children with disabilities was not absorbed in some wards. So it was forwarded to other sectors like vocational training or secondary schools. So to avoid this, that is why we are making the proposal. So Honorable Some, as a representative of your constituency, be assured that you have our support, because we are the custodian of this act. We are going to amend it within the next few weeks. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Sing'oei.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kunipatia nafasi kuchangia. Kwanza nashukuru Bwana Mheshimiwa Some kuleta hiyo hoja kuhusu walemavu. Kweli tuko na walemavu ambapo inabidi isaidiwe, lakini kuna wakati mwingine tuko na bayana basari ikawa ya kwamba unakuta mlemavu mzee ambaye haoni, lakini ananyima basari na ako na mtoto ambapo yana uwezo ya kusomesha. Kwa hiyo vile hii hoja imekuja, naona itakuwa ni bora, itasaidia hawa na itasaidia sisi vile vile. Mimi naona ya kwamba mambo ya basari lazima tuangalie kweli tuongeze, kwa sababu saa hizi unaweza kukuta msasa na kupigia simu anasema watoto wako nyumbani, ama naweza sema hata watoto yako wako nyumbani na si watoto yako. Sasa unashangaa watoto yangu najua na wao wengine hawa watatoka wapi hao? Sasa ni bora tuongeze hii basari ili tupate nafuu, kwa sababu wakati wote mambo ya harambee inakuwa mingi kwa mambo ya school fees na mambo zingine. Kwa sababu naona saa hizi ukipata mshahara unafanya harambee mpaka wakati hata mshahara mwingine hawezi kukutana na ile nyingine, mpaka naenda kwa deni. Sasa hii kitu kilioku ya kwamba tuongeze hii basari alafu tupate nafuu na tufanye kazi zingine. Unaweza kosa hata school fees ya mtoto yako na wewe unapambana na huko kutafuta kura. Sasa mambo ya kura ile huwa ni matatizo vile vile. Shida nyingine Bwana Speaker ni ya kwamba kuna ofisa wa sub county yetu ya Jisume, yeye ni mlemavu, na wakati hiyo basari ilipoenda ground wakapatiwa 15,000 kwa kila ile mwanafunzi ile mlemavu. Yeye mwenyewe akaja akaenda kwa ofisi yake akakata shilingi 5,000 akabakishia 10,000. Sasa mimi nashangaa hii mlemavu ambaye ana huruma na wale wenzake ni hatari sana. Hiyo sijafurahia sana. Mpaka saa hii bado nitafuatilia maneno Bwana Speaker, kwa sababu hiyo sifurahi. Asante sana. Mimi naunga mkono hii hoja. Asante.
Honorable Koech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What is it, Honorable? I've seen. Is it on a point of
clarification, Mr. Speaker.
to clarify?
I wanted, Honorable Sing'oei, can he substantiate what he is actually saying? Because the sub-county administrator cannot defend herself in this house. So it's better for him to substantiate, Honorable Speaker.
I think Honorable Bill Sing'oei, Honorable Ngatich said that the representative for this ward is disabled. But while we are issuing the bursary, in fact, I don't know, can you substantiate, Honorable Bills, because I cannot substantiate on your behalf? Is it true what you are saying? Ni ukweli?
Bwana Speaker, mimi nasema kitu ya ukweli. Kwa sababu raia wameamua kwamba huyu, kwa sababu ile percentage ya walemavu ni 10%. Akasema mlemavu huyu apate 15,000. Sasa huyo ofisa anaenda kukata kwa uwezo wake. Hiyo ni ukweli, si uongo.
Okay, atasema ukweli namna hiyo. Honorable Koech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute to this motion. I want to say from the onset, I thank the Honorable Cornelia Some, aka Sarasar, who is in this assembly to represent the people living with disability, not just by word, but by action. Thank you so much, and I think this is the way to go. I support this motion that when it comes to considerations of the bursary beneficiaries in matters related to disability, we should not only consider the children who are living with disability, but also the parents. It is sad, as Honorable Fred said, for a person, a parent who owns large chunks of land or who does business, having a child with disability, getting bursary. The meaning of bursary will have lost its meaning if we go that route. And I think this motion by Honorable Sarasar that we consider the parents will go a long way in making sure that truly bursary as distributed or as envisaged in NASEP Act to cater for those who will have otherwise not benefited should benefit. So, Mr. Speaker, I support fully. Though I might not agree entirely with the Honorable Chair Education on how this bursary should be distributed, I think we should retain the mode that we have used before. We cannot allow the bursary for these children living with disability, or actually this vulnerable group, to be held by the Department of Social Services. This is purely a fund that is supposed to be domiciled in the Ministry of Education. They can control the issues of getting assistive devices, trying to empower the persons living with disability. But when it comes to bursary, it should solely be distributed by the line ministry, that is the Ministry of Department of Education. And I am afraid that if we go that route that the honorable member has proposed, Mr. Speaker, you might end up funds intended for each and every ward will not reach that ward. So we must continue with this same trend we have been using. We are just adding the issue that when we have parents who are living with disability, their children should be considered. I have a case in Nandi of a parent living with disability. He's been in my neck, year in, year out, that why don't you change this thing so that we, the parents who are living with disability, can have our children go to school and be able to come and assist us. This is a good thought, a well-thought motion. I am happy that it has come at the right time. So for us, it is a matter of implementing this issue, and it is amongst us also, Mr. Speaker, that when it comes to amending the NASEP Act, it is us that are simply to do the amendment. So we hope all of us will support this particular initiative. So there is a case in my ward that we have one student who is living with disability. And as Honorable Singwai said, the locals made it sure that because in my ward we have 20 sub-locations, so I shared equally the 2 million, that is 100,000 per sub-location. In my location, we have 3 sub-locations. 10% of 300 is 30,000. The entire location felt that this student should benefit with the 30,000. But you find that instances where Honorable Pius Ingwai is saying happens, that at some point within the assessment, the same funds are also cut. But I followed up my issue, and I was told that the fee structure that was attached to that particular request or form had a balance of 21,000. So they could not have awarded 30,000 when the balance is 21,000. That is why they had to scale down to 20,000 as the benefit for that. But however, it is not within their mandate to reverse what was done at the public participation, because that is solely the purpose of public participation. So I support fully this motion and thank the Honorable Sarasar, Honorable Cornelia Some, aka Sarasar, for coming up with this motion. Let us all support for the betterment of those whom we represent. Thank you.
Honorable Teresa Mayo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. I also stand to support the motion brought by Honorable Cornelia Some. It is true, Honorable Speaker, that there are no children who pay fees for themselves. So considering the pupils or students with disabilities was not very realistic, Honorable Speaker, because when you look at the disabled parents, just like all the other parents, they are supposed to educate their children. With their disabilities, it is so difficult for them to raise the required amounts for the upkeep and educating their children. So entirely, it is prudent to consider parents living with disability when awarding the bursaries. Unless those other students with disabilities have challenges moving to school and maybe with their movement, they can only be assisted so that they can have ease in accessing the education. As education committee member, I've heard what Honorable Pius raised, and while we were consulting here with the department heads, we realized that there are students whose bursaries have been scaled down, and we wanted records so that we can follow up. So members, if there are any from your words, you can let us have so that that issue is addressed, and so that future bursary awards will be honored. Again, you realize that the 60 million that was awarded to bursary, this is money that goes directly to help the very needy members of the society. And by doubling the same amount to 120, and even more than that in subsequent years, we will be assisting the very needy members of our community more than even the other development projects that are there. So I support this motion, and that it should be implemented as soon as possible. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Ross.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise also to support this motion that Honorable Sarasar has brought today. It will actually have help the parents living with children living with disabilities. I want to support this motion because I was a victim one day. I had children, but as I went to to ask for the bursaries, I was not given bursaries because I was told we need children, the children who are living with disabilities, not you. So I want to support this motion because parents living with children living with disabilities have a lot of problems. First of all, you have to consider them that they don't have jobs. Secondly, they are single parents. It's also they are disabled, so they have a lot of poverty in their homes. So I want to support this motion in that we even increase this percentage of this 10% to 20%, so that children with disabilities, having children with disabilities will get enough money for their children. I also to say that I'll not support those people who are scaling down the bursaries for people living with disabilities. I want the education committee to see that those people who are scaling down the bursaries for people living with disabilities they have to be, we want to know who are they, because I've heard of it. There are parents who told me that their school fees were scaled down and they were given 15,000. So I want to support the Mheshimiwa. who said that some parents have, the school fees of some parents were scaled down. I was saying this because I want the committees who are going to give out the school fees, these bursaries. Those committees should involve, people living with disabilities should be involved in those committees, because if they are not there, these other people are not giving them school fees. So I want to support this motion, Mheshimiwa, and I want to compel this House to support us. Thank you.
Honorable Pius Murai.
Hoja habari Mheshimiwa Spika.
Yes, Honorable Fred.
Ningependa pia nipate habari bunge hii ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Spika, ya kwamba kama hiyo habari Mheshimiwa ametoa ya kwamba pengine sub-county administrator amefanya makosa, itafanywaje? Kwa sababu mimi niko na machecks ya 50,000 ya kwamba sub-county administrator alifanya makosa, alikatakata, baadaye wananchi wakakataa, nikarudishiwa hiyo 50,000. Na ningependa pia, nimesikia vile wanafanya si mzuri, sijui tutafanya namna gani, kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa nataka nichukue hatua kwa nini walikata na wananchi waligawanya.
Thank you, Honorable Mengech.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's unfortunate that such a thing has happened in Honorable Fred's ward. So I take responsibility that I will discuss with him. He can give me the documents and then I'll follow up in the next 1 hour.
Okay. I hope this is answered. Honorable Pius Murai.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the mover of the motion for bringing this motion. It is actually timely. It is long overdue, Mr. Speaker, because we have been having a lot of problems regarding bursaries being awarded to people living with disability. Mr. Speaker, this motion is going to add value to NASEF bill by removing its limitations, Mr. Speaker, and areas where the law has been silent in certain matters. Mr. Speaker, if there is any motion which requires close monitoring by implementation committee, and then it should be this motion, Mr. Speaker, because it is actually touching on the right people who are actually supposed to be assisted in any way possible. If it is even possible, Mr. Speaker, while we are tending towards amending the NASEF bill, Mr. Speaker, this motion is going to serve as a temporary relief to the infringed parents. The parents who are living with disability, Mr. Speaker. So as we prepare to amend the bill, we should come up with a clause which actually touching on the parents who are living with disability, but they are able to pay. They are in a position to pay school fees for their children, then those ones should be excluded. Well, let me take an example of an MCA who is disabled, and he has or she has a child. He has a child who is disabled, Mr. Speaker. It should not be a guarantee that that child is going to be awarded bursary. So that is the clause I'm talking about. The same thing to children from able families, irrespective of being disabled, those children should not be awarded bursary, Mr. Speaker. Statistically, if I may take my ward as an example, Mr. Speaker, the parents living with disability are more than children living with the same with the same, Mr. Speaker. So I want to say this motion is timely. I really support it fully, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Ngetich.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank also the mover of this motion, Honorable Cornelia Salem. Though this motion should be looked into it properly. The way Honorable Muraya said, I have seen this act of 2016. It states that 10% of the bursaries be given to students living with disability. How about if the parent is able? That is what Honorable Muraya said. Another thing which I have in mind is that does it mean that this parent...
Honorable Ngetich, you know, you are for the motion, and if you know that if you are not for the motion, the way of the
I am for the motion.
If you are for the motion, you debate on the motion, because when you do that, you need to give an amendment. You know how the procedure of doing it. So you contribute on the same motion.
So thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying that it is good to be relooked again, so that let me put my input first. I support this motion, though that those students whose parents are...
Honorable Jen, any issue, Honorable Chen? Because I have seen you up. Okay, Honorable, so okay. Sergeant Atam, assist to continue, Honorable Ngetich, and sorry for interruption.
I want to support this motion, though I was saying that those parents who is living with disability should be considered along the other parents when issuing bursaries. An issue which I have seen at times, when it reaches the time of issuing bursaries in some particular places, those parents living with disability are put aside from the rest so that they share the 10%. In my thinking, I should feel that all parents should be put together and share the 90% along the other parents. They should be considered as other parents, but they should not be segregated so that they share the 10%. All parents should be looked equally, so that the 10%, in case there is those other students which were not captured, be considered. Thank you, Honorable
Speaker. Meaning that if a parent is able and is disabled, the child cannot benefit from the same. That's why you have meant that the bursary should not be included to all members of the public, not from disability.
Honorable, my opinion is that in some places, parents living with disability, when they reach the stations where the bursaries are being shared, they are told you will share the 10%. These ones are meant for the other parents. So I was saying all parents should be considered equally, even if it is a parent living with disability, they should be considered along, so that if he or she is unable, he be considered with the rest, but not be told to be aside so that they'll share the 10%, because the 10% is very minimal, unless we increase the percentage, maybe to 20%.
Ujulishaji, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Ross.
Ningependa ni mjulishe mheshimiwa wetu ya kwamba nimesikia vile umesema, but ningependa tu kusema vizuri ya kwamba wazazi, sometimes kuna mzazi anaye mtoto na yeye mwenyewe anaweza kumlipia karo ya shule. So wale wazazi wasiangaliwe kama wale wazazi wanaoishi na ulemavu, kwa sababu most of the times sisi tunaambiwa muende na wale wazazi. Mwingine, mzazi mwingine anaweza kuwa widow, lakini mimi mlemavu sitaweza kwenda. Mimi mzazi mlemavu nina mtoto mwenye ako high school maybe na wengine. Sasa wanaweza niambia wewe wacha tunapatia widows yao, walemavu waende na yao. At the end of the day, mimi mlemavu, mama mlemavu, siwezi pata pesa. Mama widow mwenye anaweza enda kuchuna chai, anaweza enda kibarua mwingine anapatiwa. Sasa mimi nitakuwa sijapata fees ya mtoto wangu. So ningependa tu kusema hiyo kamati ya waweke vizuri ya kwamba wasasi wanao wenye wana watoto wanaoishi na wasasi wanaoishi na ulemavu, watoto wao wapewe fees. Iandikwe vizuri, iwekwe vizuri ya kwamba parent watoto wazazi wana watoto, wazazi wanaoishi na ulemavu na wana watoto wapatiwe karo sawa na wale wengine. So ningependa tu kusema mheshimiwa, ni mzuri umesema. Nyinyi kamati ya education muandike vizuri, ndio kwa sababu tukienda kule wanatuambia hapana, nyinyi wamesema watoto tu, sio wazazi wanaoishi na ulemavu, ni watoto wenye wana ulemavu, na maybe mzazi mwingine anaweza kulipia mtoto wake hata kama ni mlemavu. Asante.
Labda Honorable Nyatija and Honorable Ross, I think Honorable Fred put it clear when he started contributing, because a parent who is being targeted here as a beneficiary. Is it when we are targeting the beneficiary, is that a parent can be disabled and the child is not disabled. So when you go to the field, those who are awarding the bursary, they say the child cannot qualify because the child is not disabled, but the parent is disabled. So the way Honorable Fred was putting this, that who are we targeting here? Is it the parent or we are targeting the child? Because who is the beneficiary of the disabled? Is it the parent or the child? The child. Honorable Jepkon.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this motion. And first of all, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank my friend Honorable Cornelia Some for bringing this motion and actually highlighting the shortcomings of the NASF Act, Nandi County. Mr. Speaker, I want to start by saying, Mr. Speaker, I think my knowledge, the burden of actually paying the school fees, Honorable Speaker, lies with the parents and not the students. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it was wrong for those actually who initiated the act not to consider the parents, Mr. Speaker, because the responsibility of a parent is to pay the school fees, and not a student to pay school fees for himself, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say to concur with Honorable Fred that actually 10% is not even enough, because people we are talking about, Mr. Speaker, are disabled who are unemployed in the first place, Honorable Speaker. At the same time, Honorable Speaker, they are not able to afford even a meal, Honorable Speaker, because most of them are singles, as Honorable Rose has said. Mr. Speaker, I think we need to give them full scholarship as a county, Mr. Speaker. We need to give them full scholarship because most of them are unemployed. They cannot even afford their meal, Honorable Speaker. So I think 10% is not enough. So we need to relook at that. And I want to thank Honorable Mengage, and I want to tell him that actually we are supporting that bursaries meant for people with disability be moved to the Department of Welfare, because that is the department who are able to identify well those who are disabled. They have I think they have the act or the policy which they have described who the vulnerable are in terms of disability. So I think that is the most the good department who can able to handle this, Honorable Speaker, because you realize in some other
Mtumishaji, Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Fred.
Mheshimiwa Speaker, ningependa kujulisha rafiki yangu Mheshimiwa.
Honorable Jepkon, I hope the floor I've given to Honorable. You want to become indisciplined, Honorable Jepkon. The floor is Honorable Fred.
Mheshimiwa Speaker.
He's informing the
House.
The House.
Mheshimiwa Speaker, ningependa kujulisha bunge ya kwamba na nijulisha rafiki yangu kwamba sheria hairuhusu hiyo fedha ipewane kwa, tuko na sheria ya kwamba lazima tupeane kwa wananchi. kwa sababu sheria tulipitisha na tukasema hiyo VETA inapewana kwa wananchi, na yeye pia sasa anasema ya kwamba sijui itapewana kwa social welfare ama nini. Wanaruhusiwa kutuambia ni nani ni mlemavu, si ati waende wapeane basari, watupatie majina, kwa sababu mheshimiwa alikuwa ameongea, mheshimiwa Rusa alikuwa ameongea kwamba kuna wale matajiri na kuna wale maskini. Hawa tu ni kutuambia ni nani anafaa kupewa basari na tunawapatia.
Thank you, Honorable Chepkwony. I think you can wind up. So
Thank you, Honorable.
Yes, point of inquiry. You want to inquire from Honorable Terry?
I would like to inquire, Honorable Speaker, whether any member in this House is free to say that they don't require information. I thought everyone requires information. Honorable Chepkwony was saying it doesn't need any
It is not that
information.
Honorable Terry. Honorable Chepkwony was wrong to say it does not. Anybody need information for prosperity of the house. So information needed is well guided. Thank you, Honorable Terry. I'm not afraid. Honorable Chepkwony.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As much as I need information, Honorable Speaker, I think I am able to select which information can I consume, Honorable Speaker, and which I cannot consume. For Honorable Fred, Honorable Speaker, I think the department that is concerned unable to describe the disability to an which extent, Honorable Speaker, is the Department of Social Welfare, Honorable Speaker. I think I'm not wrong, Honorable Speaker. I think that department is able to describe which extent.
Honorable Rose.
Ningependa kumjulisha Mheshimiwa Chepkwony ya kwamba sisi ndio tunajua, kwa sababu sisi ndio tunajua yale karo inapelekwa kule mashinani, na mwenye anajua mtoto mwenye ako na shida ni chifu ama wazazi wenye wako pale. So hizo pesa hazitatokezea kwa hiyo wizara ingine, kwa sababu kuna pesa mingi ambapo, kuna vitu mingi ambapo sisi hatujaona kama inaenda sambamba, lakini tunataka hiyo pesa bado ikuje tu na wizara ya elimu vile inakuja, lakini tunasema isikuje kwa vile mheshimiwa alikuwa amesema. Tunataka hiyo pesa ya shule karo, hiyo bursaries bado tu ikuje na hiyo nini, lakini kamati inayoundwa ya kupeana hizo pesa, wale wanaoishi na ulemavu pia wawekwe pale ili waweze kudifferentiate nani ni mlemavu na wazazi gani ni walemavu na nani ndio anahitaji kupewa pesa kama hayo. Asante sana.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think we are debating on something that actually in future we need to debate about it. Honorable Speaker. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, I want to say I think I was informed by what Honorable Menge, Chair Education, that actually in some other words, the state funds was not absorbed, Honorable Speaker, because in some other words, we don't have such students, Honorable Speaker. Maybe there is still a challenge from the parents. Actually, they have not taken their children to school. So it was, it's like most of the wards, they didn't absorb the state money. So I think the Honorable Chair was of the opinion that actually if it could be taken to the department, they know how to distribute it, Mr. Speaker, because in some other words, we have, the money is not enough. And in other words, we don't have the state beneficiaries. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, I want to support this motion. Thank you.
Honorable Chen.
Asante sana Mr. Speaker kwa kuniruhusu niongee sahi. Hasa mimi nimefurahia hii motion yenye Mheshimiwa Sarasara na hii ndio neno nilikuwa nataka sana. Nimeshasema kwa muda mrefu juu ya hii pasari. Na hata juzi nilimwambia Mheshimiwa CC ya kwamba ni heri wawekwe kando pasari ya walemavu ili wagawe vizuri. Lakini ngawa Mheshimiwa Speaker, ngawa walikuwa wanaongea juu ya hao wazazi, ni ukweli hao wazazi wanashughulika sana. Waende wafukuzwe huko, wasema ati hao ni wazazi walikuwa wanataka wanafunzi, na wengi wameshasema hiyo mambo. Mimi nasema wanakamati ya education Tafadhali mtusaidie hapo pia. Na tukisema motion, hiyo mambo ya disabilities tafadhali watengenezwe vizuri, kwa sababu tumeshaongea juu ya hiyo mambo, na hata zingine hata sijui inawekwa ama yani inapitisha tu, lakini ifanye hiyo mambo. Sasa tafadhali nataka hii basari ikikuja this time, yani hizi ziko ikuje na ifanye itengenezwe vizuri. Na Mr. Speaker, au walemavu pia saa zingine ngao si mzazi, yani ni wanafunzi tu, lakini hakuna watu wenye anawasaidia. Unajua huko siku hizi mambo ni ngumu sana. Kuna hata mlemavu mwingine mwenye alikuwa amepass kwa shule, yani alikuwa amepita kwa shule na alikuwa amepata 3 something. Sasa huo mlemavu hakuweza kupata hata pasari, na akaamua ya kwamba ni heri aende arudie shule. Sasa mimi najiuliza, kwani hiyo pasari zao zinaenda wapi? Hata nikakashiri, yani si kufurahia hiyo mambo, na nikaambia that is, yani hiyo ndio sababu nilikuja juzi nikamwambia sisi, na nilishamwambia sio, hata nimeshamwambia wengine ya kwamba hao walemavu wanateseka kweli. Tafadhali hiyo pesa apewe, wanaweza pewa hata sio moja kama Mr. Toeti hivi, anaweza pewa huyo ama sio mwingine tu, bora tu wameshawekwa tu kando 10%. Hiyo ni ya walemavu sasa. Alafu kwa sababu pia walemavu wazazi wanafaa wapewe, tafadhali watuongezee hata ikuwa hata 20% hiyo ama 15 hata, ili watoshe walemavu wenye wanasoma na walemavu wazazi. Na unajua huo mlemavu mzazi ako na watoto wengi. Sasa hata wangepewa hata kidogo, waongezewe kidogo hivi, kwa sababu si mtoto mmoja ndiye ako na wengi. Sasa tafadhali mimi nimeunga mkono hiyo motion, na ninasema iwekwe hivyo. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Asante.
Honorable Kirongo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to support the motion and of course thank Honorable Member Cornelia Some. Mr. Speaker, I have a life experience over this, and I want to say these parents deserve to be assisted. The children actually must have the support of the government over this bursary. Mr. Speaker, I want to admit that parents are even more than these children living with disability. And their status, Mr. Speaker, is actually worrying. We also want to thank God because the children of these parents are brilliant in schools. Mr. Speaker, citing one example, I have one man who cannot talk. He comes from a place known as Kipsukur in my ward. Many other times, Mr. Speaker, he normally comes to my place, and the mode of even communication is a problem. Mr. Speaker, we have to engage in, because I don't know to use sign language, Mr. Speaker, and we more of the time we need to engage in just writing. That he normally tells me I have three children in school, one at the university level, two, one in college and one in high school. So, Mr. Speaker, you can imagine such a situation, and this is a person living with who is disabled, having children who are brilliant in school. So, Mr. Speaker, if there is any other person, you can find a teacher working, having 6 children in college. that person deserve, or such children deserve to be given bursaries. So other parameters will come up with later on, but we cannot put obstacles over the same. We are saying, let us pass this motion, Mr. Speaker, so that the same children of the same parents be given bursaries. Mr. Speaker, I really support this, and we urge implementation committee so that they can act swiftly so that these children can benefit. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Kirongo members. I've seen we are in agreement, and maybe I'll give Honorable Some to give the right of reply.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to take this opportunity to thank my honorable members for supporting this motion because it helps vulnerable persons, which is a person living with disability. Mr. Speaker, remember that these parents have suffered for long. Let us assist so that they will enjoy the fruits of their children in future, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you, members. I now put a question that aware that the Constitution and the Person with Disability Act 2013 has been set out the entitlement of the person with disability, noting that the Nandi County Education Fund Act 2016 set out the criteria for the award of the bursaries and scholarship. Further aware that the bursary and the scholarship applicants with disabilities are given special consideration among the applicants. Considering the applicants for bursaries or scholarship, 4 are without disability but whose parents are with disabilities are not preferable consideration with awarding bursary or scholarship. This House therefore resolved that the priority at the given time of awarding of the bursary or scholarship be given to applicants whose parents are persons with disability. Will as many as of a similar opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, adjournment.
So members being no any, this House adjourned necessity.